Good afternoon, members of the panel. We are Maria Jamila Angelica A. Daly,
And I am Crystal Shannon Presto.
and we are here today to present our thesis, Visitor Expectations and Satisfaction in the CERT Museum at S. Maison, Pasay, conducted under the supervision of our thesis advisor, Miss Irene Gueco. Before we begin, this slide briefly outlines the research matrix, documenting the feedback received from the panel during our proposal defense and the corresponding revisions made to strengthen our study. Our study focuses on the Dessert Museum located at S. Mason, Pasay. This venue stands out as a unique interactive museum experience characterized by its dessert-themed, highly immersive exhibits specifically designed to engage visitors and encourage social media sharing. It represents a growing trend in the Philippines, especially in Metro Manila, where museums are evolving into edutainment spaces. Despite its popularity, there is a gap in understanding how visitors perceive such unique attractions in the local context. This research aims to explore visitor expectations and satisfactions at the Dessert Museum, providing insights into how factors like age might influence perceptions in these modern interactive settings, which is particularly relevant for tourism development. Specifically, our study sought to answer the following research questions. First, what is the demographic profile of the visitors in terms of age, civil status, educational attainment, employment status, monthly income, frequency of museum visits, and purpose of their visit. Second, what are the visitors' level of expectation regarding the museum's image, service quality, and perceived value? Third, what are their levels of satisfaction concerning the same dimensions? And finally, to what extent does the level of visitor satisfaction align with or differ from their initial expectations based on these dimensions? The findings of the study hold significance for several groups. For the management of the Dessert Museum, it offers data-driven insights for enhancing features and services. Marketing teams can use this information to better align promotion with visitor preferences. Ultimately, visitors benefit from potentially improved experiences, and furthermore, tourism authorities can gain knowledge applicable to other interactive attractions. And finally, our research contributes valuable data to the academic understanding of museum visitor behavior and satisfaction within the Philippines. Now, Christelle will discuss the hypotheses and theoretical underpinnings of our study.
Thank you, Jam. To guide our investigation into the relationship between expectation and satisfaction, we formulated two hypotheses based on the expectation disconfirmation theory. The null hypothesis proposed that there is no significant difference between visitor expectation and their actual satisfaction regarding the museum's image, service quality, and perceived value. Conversely, the alternative hypothesis proposed that a significant difference doesn't exist between expectations and satisfactions across this dimension. The theoretical foundation for our study is Richard L. Oliver's expectation disconfirmation theory from 1977. This theory suggests that satisfaction is determined by comparing pre-visit expectations with the perceived performance after the visit. We adopted a conceptual framework influenced by Bondoc and Iturralde, which incorporates factors like demographics and perceived value, influencing the core comparison between expectation across image, comparison, perceived value, and the resulting satisfaction. Due to logistical constraints, we measured expectation using post-visit recall, ensuring alignment with the core comparison required by the theory.
Now let's discuss our methodology. We employed a descriptive quantitative research design, and our participants were 278 visitors, age 18 to 60, and age range based on WHO and PSA demographics, surveyed using random sampling as they exited the museum, and the sample size was determined using the Ralsov sample size calculator based on their estimated monthly visitor numbers. Our instrument as a validated three-part questionnaire covering demographics, expectations, and satisfaction using a four-point Likert scale for the latter two parts, measuring dimensions of image, service quality, and perceived value. Data was collected face to face, ensuring ethical procedures like informed consent and confidentiality were followed. And for the analysis, we used descriptive statistics like mean and standard deviation to profile visitors and their ratings. And the paired sample t-test as our inferential statistic to compare expectation and satisfaction means at 0.05 significance level.
Moving on to our results, starting with the visitor profile. As shown in Table 1, the vast majority of our respondents, 72.3%, were young adults aged 18 to 24. And for the Table 2, shows that nearly 90% of visitors were single. According to Table 3, most respondents had college-level education, either as undergraduates, 43.9%, or graduates, 46%. Table 4 indicates that over half, 54.7%, were employed, with a significant portion being unemployed, 24.5%, likely students. Table 5 shown income levels were varied, with the largest group, 33.1%, reporting a monthly income between 3,500 pesos and 7,500 pesos. As seen in Table 6, a large majority, 79.9%, were first-time visitors. And finally, for the Table 7, reveals that the primary purpose for visiting was entertainment. Cited by 60.4% of respondents, overall, the typical visitor profile is young, single, college educated, and visiting for the first time primarily for entertainment.
Table 8 presents the visitor expectation levels. The overall mean expectation score was 3.76, interpreted as very high, and visitors came with significant anticipation. Looking at specific items, the highest expectations were related to cleanliness, mean of 3.90, and the availability of photo opportunities with a mean of 3.87, and having an entertainment experience of mean of 3.85, and the items with the lowest expectation, although still rated very high, was the expectation of a fair ticket price with a mean of 3.65.
Turning to visitor satisfaction in Table 9, the overall mean satisfaction score was also 3.76, identical to expectation and interpreted as a very high. This indicates as a high level of contentment with a visit. Again, cleanliness received the highest satisfaction score, mean 3.90. High satisfaction was also reported for photo opportunities, mean 3.85, and proper maintenance, mean 3.85, and notably, a high willingness to recommend a dessert museum to others, mean 3.85. The aspect receiving comparatively lower satisfaction score, though still very high. Word experience being educational, mean 3.67, and the perception that the ticket price was worth the experience, mean 3.62. And for the Table 10, show the direct comparison between expectation and satisfaction, mean using the paired sample t-test. For all three dimensions, image, service quality, and perceived value, the p-value were greater than our significance level of 0.05. This indicates that there is no statistically significant difference between what visitors expected and their actual satisfaction levels. Therefore, we accept the null hypothesis. These key findings strongly suggest that the Dessert Museum experienced successfully met the high expectation of its visitor. Now, I'll turn it back over to Jam for conclusion and recommendations.
Thank you, Christelle. And to conclude, our study found that visitors who are primarily young adults seeking entertainment arrived at the Dessert Museum with very high expectations, especially concerning cleanliness and photo opportunities. Their reported satisfaction after the visit was correspondingly very high and closely mirrored, and these initial expectations. Our statistical our statistical analysis confirmed that there was no significant gap between expectations and satisfaction. Therefore, the main conclusion of our research is that the Dessert Museum successfully delivers an experience that meets its visitors' high expectations across the dimensions of image, service quality, and perceived value. This findings support the expectation disconfirmation theory of Oliver in 1977, demonstrating that the alignment between expected and actual performance leads to high satisfaction within this interactive museum setting. And based on our findings, we propose the following recommendations divided into suggestions for the Dessert Museum management. First, for the management is we strongly recommend that the museum prioritize and enhance its cleanliness protocols. As our results showed, cleanliness was the highest rated factor for both visitor expectations and satisfaction. Implementing rigorous daily and hourly cleaning, especially in high traffic interactive areas, is crucial to maintaining the key driver of positive visitor experience. Second, regarding the pricing, while overall satisfaction was high, the perception of ticket value received lower scores. Therefore, we recommend focusing on improving perceived value. Instead of simply reducing prices, management should consider enhancing existing bundles and packages by adding tangible perks like exclusive merchandise or complimentary photos. Actively promoting this value added offers and exploring partnerships with nearby businesses can also help address this aspect without necessarily impacting the revenue. And the museum should continue leveraging the interactive and visually appealing elements that clearly resonate with its target demographic, as evidenced by the high satisfaction with photo opportunities and entertaining spaces.
And finally, this slide shows the Turnitin similarity report for our paper, indicating an overall similarity index of 7%.
And this includes our presentation. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and we are now ready for your questions.